Hi there, my name is Cece, and I am the host of Zeal Fujoshi podcast. Today, we are thrilled to have you, Alexander Maniatis, uh, to join us in this podcast episode. Alexander is best known for his stellar performance in the live action One Piece series as Captain Kuro and also Calador. Let's give him a warm welcome before we dive into the interview, though, Alexander. Were you a fan of One Piece before you got your Captain Kuro role?
So to be honest, I didn't know a lot about One Piece before. Also, where are my manners? I just need to say thank you for having me. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So let me go back to that. So I didn't know a lot about One Piece before the audition. My audition process was about 6 months back and forth. And obviously they used different script, different names for the characters. It was under the project name, Project Panda. And it was probably round 2 or round 3 of the auditions. My friend who helped me with my, prepping for my audition, read the script and he was like, wait a minute, something looks quite familiar with these characters, although they have different names. And he was like, this seems oddly familiar. There's this anime that I watched and it's called One Piece, and I think it might be these characters. And started doing the research, and after my last audition, they told me, okay, this is One Piece, this is Kuro or Clado. And that was sort of like my introduction into it. And when I got the yes that I got the role, I started watching from Syrup Village, obviously, because I had like 3 months to prepare for this character.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very short time. Well, knowing that Captain Kuro is a very complex villain, what drew you to this character and how did you approach building his backstory and motivations?
I think because the work that I did from my hometown, where I'm from, Cape Town, South Africa, the roles that I played were mostly like the guy next door, the good guy. And I remember I finished a project called Love, Lies, and Hybrid. And I went to the universe and I said, universe, I want to play a bad guy. Like, I really want to do this. I want something layered. And that was literally the next audition that I got. What I love about these villains is that they're complex, so layered. And the anger, because I don't get angry in my personal life. Like, it takes a lot to get me angry. And I think I wanted to explore that within myself. And through these characters, like Kuro, who's very, very vengeful and rageful at the end, I really wanted to explore that side of myself as well, within a safe zone on a set.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for.
Sorry to interrupt you. And the last
Sure.
part of the question?
It's like, how did you approach building his backstory and motivation?
So I went to a therapist to help me develop the character. When I sat down, I was like, well, here's somebody that's really angry, and I needed to find out why he's so angry. And that had to take me back to his childhood. Did his mother wrong him? Did his dad wrong him? Somehow there needs to be an explanation for this anger. And ultimately, Kuro's goal, his objective was ultimate peace. And also to find out why was he so motivated? Why was he so driven? Why did he hate this life of piracy so much? Sat with a therapist and really just sort of like built this backstory, came up with a story that made sense to justify why this man was the way that he was.
Got it. Were there any particular scenes that were specifically demanding or especially demanding?
um, that was a good sigh. Very demanding. I would say, funnily enough, you would think that the more action-driven scenes, or especially the last scene where before he goes into the big fight with Luffy, that could be seen as demanding. But what I found challenging were the sort of like more, if I can put it, the chiller scenes where it was quite calmer and his demeanor had to be more reserved. Like sometimes those were the more challenging ones. times.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. But I think with the fighting and where the rage kicks in, it was just liberating. It was like rah, where that sort of like holding it all in, and then the posture was quite
Yeah.
yeah
He's very tight on
difficult,
that.
tight.
Yeah. Okay. The live action adaptation has met a lot of positive feedback. What was the overall experience like working on this high profile of a project?
For me, it was a dream come true. I remember when I got the call to say that I got the role, I started crying. Because to be a part of something this big that means so much to so many people out there, like, because I resonate with, growing up, and then there's a show that you emotionally attach to, and you grow with these characters, and this is what One Piece is to so many people out there, and to be a part of that um, was just such an amazing experience. What I loved about the set and the whole production was that there was a lot of respect amongst the people working on it. Respect for the source material, but also respect for each other. Um, there was no ego. It was one of the most joyous experiences, like going to set, everybody had each other's backs.
Speaking of respect, you can see it from the cast that
Yeah.
they're very, very down to earth. So, can you share what it was like working with the rest of the cast, especially the main Straw Hat crew? Are there any fun behind the scenes stories that you can share with us?
There are a lot. Um, so, with the South African actors that were part of the production, um, myself, Celeste, who played Kaya, um, then Bianca and Albert, who played Sham and Butchie, uh, Mary, who was played by Brett. So we connected when we all got the confirmations on our roles. We started connecting to just try and build a dynamic, explore our characters, explore our relationships as these characters, and through that, these amazing friendships evolved. Um, like I really love all of them, and every now and again we check in, or we go for a coffee, or we go for a walk. And then the main cast members, I remember day one when I met all of them was basically, it was the scene where I think Kuro meets them for the first time in Kaya's garden. And that was the first time that I met them as well. And I was really surprised by just how humble and grounded everyone was, and kind. It was a really, really an amazing experience. Um, Fun stories. So there's a prank that uh, myself and Albert, who played Butchie. So it was so amazing because our dynamic, we could look at each other and just like give a wink. Like, okay, cool, something's coming. Let's just go with it. Let's just roll with it. And I remember we told Bianca just saying like, "Oh, have you seen the updated script?" And Bianca was like, "No, what do you mean the updated script?" We were like, "Well, there was small changes, especially on your one line where you have the fight with Zorro and he kicks you down the stairs and you get up and you say, 'You can mess with me, but don't mess with my hair.'" And she really was like, "No, I didn't receive the updated script." We were like, "Well, you need to just perhaps mail production." And we just went with it up until she was so stressed. And then eventually, I just gave her a slight wink. And all I did was like this without Albert seeing. And now we were turning the joke onto Albert
Oh gosh.
without Albert knowing. So she was messaging production saying, "Well, Albert said that there's an updated script and I haven't received the updated script. Can we please just, get the final script?" And so Albert is stressing now because he's like, "Well, you can't send that to production because I didn't say." I was just like, "Just leave it. Production is not going to say anything."
Oh gosh.
So she received an email from production saying, there are no changes. Please tell Albert to come and see us."
Gosh.
And so we just went with this, and Albert was sweating. And eventually it's like, I couldn't hold it any longer. So it was like, "Okay, cool, guys. This was just a prank. It was
Oh
just a
gosh.
game."
Did anybody get into trouble?
Luckily not.
Thank God. um, Given the popularity of One Piece, did you anticipate the level of fan reaction to the live action series?
For myself, there was a lot of anxiety. Not that I didn't, trust that we were going to make something amazing, something magical, but I think because there's such a reputation for live adaptations to fail, I think that was the fear. Um, but when I got to set and I saw the respect that everyone had for the source material, and we had the creator as the captain of the ship, approving everything, saying like, oh, well, maybe do it this way, or let's reshoot that. And to have Oda himself as the captain of the ship, and then have the two showrunners, which, I mean, they love One Piece, and everyone on that set respected their characters.
Wow.
And I think for that reason,
It was very
it was
true.
really successful.
Yeah, it was very true to the source material.
You could see it. You could see the joy and the respect.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Thank
very
you.
good. Um, let's see. What was the most rewarding part of being part of the One Piece live action project for you?
I guess, like on a personal level, um, when I grew up, I had this dream of becoming a performer and being part of something big. And I get emotional when I think about it. And I remember my last day on set, and I was standing there, and all of a sudden I was this little boy, and I was like, this is it. This was the dream that I had. Sorry, I get so emotional when I think about it because it was such a joyous experience.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so for me, it was this vehicle of my dreams that came true.
It's good. I'm very happy
Thank
for
you.
you. I can see how much this means to you. So I'm really happy for you. Well, Alexander, like tell our viewers what projects you're working on and what are your socials so that they can follow you.
So socials is Alexander.Maniatis on Instagram. Projects at the moment, it has been so quiet after the writers and actors strike. Like we thought that it would pick up. So it's been slightly quiet, which is challenging, but it also pushes you to like think outside of the box. I'm also a musician, so I've been working on my music and around the production. Yeah, and if you want to follow that journey as well, hop onto my Instagram. There will be updates on the album, music videos, which I'm very excited about.
Thank you for joining us in this episode, Alexander. I know that this is your first time in the US. I hope you're having fun and I hope you enjoy Anime Magic this weekend.
Thank you for having me. It's
Thank
such
you.
an honor.
Thank you.